following program does not reflect the views of CKMS 100.3 Sound FM. And here we are, it's Chad Kazarin here with CoVerT ReaLiTy on our 20th episode. And if you know about this program, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. we talk about the manipulation of our atmosphere due to weather modification, and how we know as a populace that our own government and our environmental companies and our own military and our own, our administrative offices, anyone you can think of, really, the university professors, anyone that's involved in, some sort of climate strategy to place a price on our lives, when really all it is a strategy, really, to just kind of control all of us based on some really old power trip that we must try to get over with here, because we are destined to really go down a path that we don't want to if we don't really lay out what is happening to our skies and our atmosphere and our weather. For instance, this week, okay, they've been spraying this whole week in Waterloo. They've been spraying, and it's made the regular fall temperature seem a lot warmer during the day, and then so at night you'll get a little blast of really cold air. A lot of people that go to bed nice and early, they'll get up, in the morning, and without even knowing that this manipulation's been taking place, and you'll get, a big low pressure cold system come down in the middle of the night, and in the morning or during the night that kind of sets in while we're sleeping, and then we get up and we feel a little bit chillier. We wake up with a cold. Now I live in an apartment building, so I hear a lot of people coughing or sneezing after these events happen. So I just want to bring this about because we're at a point where we are using the radio broadcast station 100.3 FM, and it would be, if you want to listen online, it's soundfm.ca/listen/ I think that's /listen/. And you can join on in. Today is probably the most important CoVerT ReaLiTy episode we're ever going to have. And I can't say ever going to have, because we have a lot of things ahead of us yet. For all of you people that know what I'm talking about, we're talking about exposing weather modification, exposing chemtrails and geoengineering operations, the solar radiation management that's taking place, the SRI, that's injection. Now we have all sorts of university professors playing a game right now with all of our intelligence. It's funny how the government of Canada and our environmental department actually thinks that we don't look at anything, and we're actually doing more monitoring than Environment Canada's doing, and it's really looking pretty bad when you get CBC using a university professor from Calgary named David Keith, and he was just recently on CBC saying that chemtrail billboards, of raising awareness for chemtrail billboards, is actually, the people that are behind, exposing chemtrails or spraying in the atmosphere. He's saying that science doesn't see that. Well, that backlash, and I'm glad it did, because most of Canadians, if not all of them, well, I won't say most, but I'll say I'm hoping 60% to 70% of Canadians, at least are sort of aware, of heard on the streets or somewhere about our weather being manipulated, played around with. We got, you know, hydro leagues that are just taking us in. We've been just had for a long time, just so a few people can make some money, you know, and when it comes down to it, and that's what they want to do now again. Blame us for the weather that's changing when we know we're being sprayed. Now last week we weren't sprayed that much, and it was really nice, you know, it was nice and cool and beautiful. And I announced that on last week's show. And you know, here we go. We got hotter weather going into September. So this week it's a little bit, you know, warm during the day, but then at night it gets chilly. So we're all getting confused. You know, it's probably going to benefit the pharmaceutical agencies. But what I want to say about today's show, okay, now I should have already said this a long time ago, but I do want people that do not know what we're talking about here to at least get a little bit of an understanding of what I'm about to say. Because we're about to have a guest on here in the next 5 minutes. Is, you know, an amazing guest, a patriotic, passionate warrior of goodness, making a difference with his presence on this earth, a man of many successful missions throughout his career and onward. Canadian Army veteran, 2nd Lieutenant Scott Don Pullen is going to be here speaking with us in the next 5 minutes. Scott was in the Army for 12 and a half years in reserve, became a commissioned officer in 2005 as a 2nd Lieutenant. A few years ago he had left the Army based on what was said to him. And when we call him up in the next couple minutes, he will be, you know, describing to our audience, you know, what kind of experience he had been through during that time. And just to follow up on here, what I find interesting about Scott Don Pullen is that, you know, he had done a lot of things throughout his career. One was he was wrongfully fired when working at a welfare department. He worked for a welfare department for sticking up for his clients. He was fired for sticking up for his clients. He was one of those good men that make a difference. And so when he was wrongfully fired, so he took the supervisors to court, and he won. And I guess they were fired, and it changed the way things ran there for the better. And you know, just a little bit of his personality, you know, just throw at you when it makes a difference of who will do something about something and who won't. You know, there's many things. He studied philosophy in university. He opened a group home for youth as well. He made changes in the mental health system by creating a courts diversion program in Brantford for people with severe mental health issues. So it could, you know, either lessen the charge based on their mental health. So I just want to say that Scott Pullen is just an amazing individual. You know, even I guess during and while he was serving, and now I am more than honored to actually pick up the phone and give him a call. So I'll be doing that in a second here. I just have to change my earpiece. If you can just give me 1 second. Okay, so we're going to be calling Scott now, and I'm hoping that this will work out. I'm pretty sure it will. Here we go. Okay, we're going to actually put this on. Okay, that's really loud. Holy moly.
Good afternoon, Bob's Pizza.
Hello. Oh, okay. Hold on 1 sec. I gotta figure out something here. Everything's going all nutty on me. Everything's going crazy over here. The sound's going nutty.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear everything normal right now?
Yeah, I'm just gonna turn this off.
Yeah. If you can turn that off, that'd be great. Or you can turn it down.
No, that's all right. I'll just turn it off. I'd rather not hear me anyway.
Well, hey everybody, that's listening right now to CoVerT, we are talking to, on the other line, Scott Don Pullen. And
Scott.
Yeah, Scott.
I'll go by Scott.
Yeah, Scott works. That works very well. So yeah, we're finally glad to have you on the air. We realize what kind of serious situation we've become into. Wow, eh? We never would have thought that this would have been the outcome of what's happening in Canada right now.
Yeah, it is rather disappointing for sure.
Yeah,
So, I remember the last time that we spoke, Chad, and I think that was up in Toronto at Suzanne
right.
Bear's do there.
Yeah, conference.
You've really come a long ways. I am just so delighted, that you have the radio station now, but like an excellent way to get out to the public.
Oh, it's...
So like I know that, your heart is so sincere and genuine in doing something,
and yours too, and that's...
Now you found your niche. I think that's excellent.
Well, it's amazing how when your heart's in the right place, things just kind of get given to you. They kind of just become for you, even if you don't expect it. So yeah, you're right. I want to say, in all honesty, when I met you in Brantford on October 3rd, I believe it was, in 2015.
Oh, yeah.
So that's when I first met you, but you were right. The last time I saw you was in Toronto at the conference that Bye Bye Blue Sky put on, and it was amazing. We met a lot of great people there, like Suzanne Marr and Brian Porter and Andrew Cole and a bunch of other people there, Tim Bartels. But we're all coming together because we all, realize, and the reason why we met is because we all have one thing in common, and it's because we notice we're being sprayed by, unidentified flying objects, we'll say for now, because we do have a little bit of an identification through NASA, and so we've been able to actually see some of their prototypes, and they match up with some of the orbs that are spraying, some of the lines in the sky. So what I was really interested to know, we've casually talked about this a few times, Scott, but I just really am floored and blown away because I try to put myself in a position, in your position, where I'd be serving, the government, the Canadian Army, and I'm doing the noble work of what I feel I'm doing is right. And then, something came about within, that program or whatever you feel noble to. Would you be able to describe, what had happened? When you were serving, how was it brought about to you that you weren't supposed to speak of something?
Well, I started my research back in the summer of 2010. And I was still in at that particular time. Initially I didn't really believe it. It was a friend of mine, and he's a little bit weird, like all of us. So since he was weird and I'm weird, I figured, I'm going to do a little bit more investigation into this, because it sounds rather interesting, in a nasty way, of course.
Yes.
So as I was finding out more, and I used to spend 4 or 5 hours a day, on the computer, and a lot do. Then I started to talk about it, and I'm down in the Simcoe area here in Brantford, and people really don't seem to want to be very open-minded, Anyways, getting back to the Army thing, I was approached by one of my superiors, and we sat down, and he said, what you're talking about, is just really not acceptable. And I said, what might that be? And he said, well, the research that you're doing on whatever, something up in the sky or whatever. And he said, please don't talk about that. So I didn't. I had no idea that we weren't supposed to, because, if something's wrong, then you speak up.
Right.
And that's I do, and that's what I've always done.
Right.
I speak up. Anyways, I left in 2013, and ever since then, it's been sort of kind of like non-stop, but then sometimes I have to stop because it becomes overwhelming.
Oh, you got that right, yeah. And it is overwhelming. And I just got to say, you've just really just, shooken our listeners and me up to a reality that we all need to be open to, because you're an amazing hero in all of our eyes, because you're doing what is right, and even though you're not supposed to speak of this kind of thing, even though a lot of people even in the military and the army probably really would want to make a change too, but they feel like they just can't because they might not have the same magic that certain people do that can make a change or believe in that. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for standing up and for doing that. And I know ever since that had happened, what kind of roller coaster ride that has been. So I love that you have a van that's all deckled out with all sorts of stuff. And wow, I wish this was a live TV program right now, because I'd show you a picture of the van. But
Chad, I go down to Port Dover every single day. I rarely miss a day unless I'm at work.
That's great.
And then I go right down at the pier, and I park the van in a spot where everybody can see it.
Great.
And Bernadette gave me a poster, so I put that right beside, the van.
Right.
And it's just amazing how many people come up to the van. Like a couple of days ago, I decided I'd have a little nap. So I laid back, and I was having a pretty good sleep, and then my eyes popped open, and there were two men there. And I said, ooh. So I put the window down.
Right.
And then, they said, wow, this is really good to see. He said, we're from Hamilton, and we would never expect anything like this down here.
Oh, great.
Where someone has their van decked out. But the one, he was just beginning to get into it. He watched What in the World Are They Spraying by Michael Murphy, which is an awesome documentary. Anyone that watches that will certainly shake him up, enough to watch the second one, which is Why in the World Are They Spraying? And I always recommend people, to start there, and right off the bat they're going to get a lot of information,
right.
Because it's based on scientific data. They worked hundreds and hundreds of hours on this documentary.
Right.
Now, an incident happened to me in the spring, and I was EMP'd. My computer was hacked, I don't know how many times. There was a group in Florida that helped me keep on the net. But and I phoned Troy Lessard. He's the director of Global March, as you know.
Right.
And he's part of the crew for Michael Murphy. And we've had a lot of discussions about different things that we've experienced, but I was telling him about the things I was experiencing, and he says, oh yeah, be prepared for that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it didn't really bother me, it's just that when there were some threats against us, blah, 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 I could understand, some people not liking that, but I was still prepared to go.
Right.
When I think about the children, the women, our future generations, it looks bleak.
Right.
Now, I like the program that was on just before now, about animals,
Right.
I just love animals. And then when I'm doing my walk every day, I look at the trees, I listen to nature. I'm very, very grounded with Mother Earth, and everything that she has given us. And it's just so sad because, this year my cedar trees all died. They all turned brown. the ferns, they died way back in the end of June. In my backyard there's a big ravine, and there are so many trees that are dead. You know, and then like I say to myself, why can't people see this? You know, like
Exactly.
they're just so wrapped up in their everyday activities and looking at that stupid cell phone and texting and
Right.
but anyways, about the animals, like when I'm going down the road and if I see an animal on the road, I'll stop and I'll take it off. I just think it's disgusting, you know, that people run or keep running over something that used to be alive and such a beautiful little thing.
Right.
So I take it off the road,
Yeah.
and then I'll cover it up, you know, with leaves or whatever that's available.
Yeah, I just did that the other day.
Maybe I'm just, I go overboard, but I
No,
just
no.
love life.
I love it. You know, that's great. You know, I love every word you were saying. I'm just surfing every word there. Yeah, I just helped a squirrel out that just got nailed, I guess just yesterday. Just got hit. And I watched the car just go over and almost hit it again. And yeah, I walked over, and it's kind of funny because the second after I found like, you know, I wouldn't think that I would find a toothpaste container, like a box. But I was able to, you know, unfold that open and literally just grab a stick and roll it over and bring it over into the side of the woods and gave it a little bit of leaves on top. And so yeah, no, we are a lot alike. I mean, us that come out and do these things. We need more of us out there. That's for sure.
Well, you know, and then I've been doing that since I was a kid,
Right.
because we lived in the country, and with me having ADHD, like my mom and dad used to let me just roam all over the place in the woods, and I had a dog, you know. So I lived in there or with nature, even when I was a little child, and watched the ants and all that stuff, you know. But they're all beginning to exit, and you know, when I watched my mom and dad die, like they died of cancer, and both my really, really good friends, they died of cancer. My foster son, he died of cancer. But it's almost like watching when they were sick. It was very slow, you know, and eventually they died. And it's almost the same thing, like watching that.
Right.
And it's just not a very nice feeling at all.
Right. You know, it's not. And to see the degrading of our Mother Nature coincide with that same feeling, that is the same thing that we see. We see when we can help to make life longer and better and amazing. That's all we're really trying to do, is to try to, you know, I'm the same. You know, I think everyone can identify with cancer-related deaths in the family taking their people's lives. And with this chemtrail spraying, just doing it even more. And, you know, our organs, you know, will have a failure 10 years to 15 years before. You know, we could possibly have another maybe 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, you know, added on when we're in our late years, around 60, 70, you know, who's to say? And it seems to be that there are, you know, forces against us that are, you know, they're happy we're not looking. And it's about time that we did look, and I'm pretty sure the populace is waking up now a little bit more than what they were before.
I think to a fairly large degree now, like, I'm finding that when I go down to Port Dover, that there are more and more people that either are wondering or already know, you know, about what's happening
That's
up
great.
there.
That's great to hear.
When I was, now you mentioned about when I was in the welfare department, that's after I graduated from York.
Oh,
It's not really a job that I wanted, but that's where I started. And I used to always speak up for their rights. A lot of the workers at that time, anyways, it was just a job. But once I got in there, I saw that it was more than a job, you know. It was respecting people's rights. their right to have welfare. There were a lot of workers there that made it very, very difficult for them because that it meant less work for them.
Right.
I had to speak up for them. I'm always calm, like I'm fairly calm most of the time. But when people drive me too far, then I do react. And they found a nice big hole in the wall because I was so frustrated at what I was seeing, and people not being treated the proper way that they should be.
True passion.
And then, and then the second time that I put a hole in the wall, I can fix things really well. The first one I did a really good job. The second one, I didn't get a chance to fix it.
Were the holes close to the other hole? Did you almost get the same hole?
No.
Oh,
this was in the supervisor's office.
Oh.
And all it was, the checks were being mailed out, and they hadn't been mailed yet. They wouldn't be mailed that day. And then I said, well, I'm going up to Paris, and I'll be passing right by this mother's house. She had 3 kids, and they don't have any food for the weekend. So how about if I just take the check up and at least she can, no, can't do that.
Wow.
And I said, well, you have made exceptions. No, Cam. And then I lost it.
Right.
But yeah, like I did take it to court. I won. I was offered my job back.
Nice.
But I'd already started with a group home. And even with the group home, like a lot of people say, like even with these lines in the sky, well, we can't do anything about it.
Right.
My philosophy is if you say you can't, you won't.
You won't. Right.
You say you can, you will.
Absolutely.
But, you have to be determined. You have to be well focused. And, if it's being done in a big way, it's extremely important to work together.
Yes.
And that's the only thing that I see a bit of a problem, like there are a lot of really great groups out there now. People are waking up. I think that Bernadette has done a wonderful job.
Yeah, Bernadette Gervais-Green from Geoengineering Awareness Group Canada, and she's amazing. Thank you for.
And then the idea, of bringing the groups together. That's exactly what we need.
Right.
But then I think from then we need something more. We need a plan.
Yes.
We need a plan that is in unison with everyone. It's the same thing. There's a war going on against mankind. Now, most times if you're being attacked by an enemy, you respond, in a big way. Like we're being attacked by very, very dangerous toxins, frequencies, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And all that we say is, well, we'll give a peaceful demonstration. Well, they're not giving a very peaceful demonstration at all.
Exactly.
Like they're killing us and the animals and the trees and things like that. So what we need to do is to make some kind of a more aggressive plan.
Right. And we had Jolie Diane on a couple weeks ago. We were speaking about that, just kind of maybe all coming together, like even just now while anyone's out there driving your car along the highway, or if you're at home listening to the program, it's as easy as you just looking up your local phone numbers for your environmental departments and your police or your administrations, and let them know. Just say, listen, we know we're being sprayed, we're being dispersed upon. And we're not stupid, we're not stupid. We see what's going on, and we just want to, at least to give them that, because we're noticing that it's only a few people within each town that's really, maybe not even a few people, maybe it's only one person in each town, but we need it to be more than that, because these university professors are going and teaching students, and the universities have platforms in Canada here teaching students all about nanotechnology. And nanotechnology is being dispersed on us, but half of the students don't even know that. So we need to really come together, you're right, and to let these people know that the game's over. I mean, we see that we're being sprayed, so there's no way that they're going to be able to manipulate us to be perpetrated into a carbon tax. I know I myself will have a hard time dealing with that one, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I going to say? But yes, like coming together. Now, I remember I stopped, this is a few months ago, there was an officer that was parked along the road. It was a perfect day, to use as an example.
Okay.
And I said, ma'am, I'd like to report a crime.
Great.
In action. And she said, oh, and what's that? And I said, well, have a look up in the sky. And she said, well, where's the crime? And I said, well, if you have the time, I'll explain. So I explained a little bit, and I gave her some information. And by law, if you report a crime, they're supposed to take, they're supposed to investigate it.
Right.
And if they don't, then they can be hauled up and disciplined. Well, she never got back to me.
Wow.
Of course, no, I didn't take her badge number. That's where I went wrong. I was just delighted that she was writing something in her book. So I figured, okay, this lady's going to, and then she got my name, my number, the whole bit. So I was waiting for a phone call, but I never got it. So it's doing things like that, Now, I went to see our local MPP for about 2 years, and a friend of mine was also doing the same thing, and we just could never get past the front desk.
Oh.
I remember telling him that, it's if you do your research, you'll find that it is a crime. And he said, yeah, but it's up in the sky. We don't deal with anything up in the sky. That's federal. And I said, okay, but Newton would say, or was it Newton? Who said that what goes up must come down?
Right.
So I said, when it comes down, then it's a provincial matter. Then he said, okay, well, give me a couple of weeks and I'll do my research. So then I went back. He had done his research, and he said, you know what? It's just a hoax.
Oh.
And I said, well, you didn't do your research then, at least didn't look in the right spot.
Not at all.
And I said, oh, and then there was someone who was hiding behind a pillar, and he came out real quick, and he said, he's right. It's just a hoax. And then I said, well, do either of you have kids? Yeah. And I said, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yep.
Anyways, I kept putting stuff in Toby Barrett's mailbox, and I put in some documentaries and stuff. Next time I saw him, I said, by the way, it was at Tim's. I said, did you get all the information? And he said, yep. And I said, have you watched it? He said, yes. He said, and then I told him, I could never get in to see him. And he said, well, I'll alert them. You can come in to see me. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'll be going in to see Toby Barrett.
Hey, that is great.
And he's very highly regarded or respected in this area.
Right. That's great news.
So that's kind of good.
Yeah, it is, and I've noticed that too. Like, we had to confront a bunch of the MPs here in Waterloo, and let them know, we're being sprayed. Game over, and we weren't being really that mean. We're being very, very professional and well spoken with them and talking to them. But you know, this is what it takes is you know, you get someone like, I know that when someone like you goes and does something like that, the MP is going to know you and respect you and go, okay, I know that person, he cares about this. Wow. When we get more and more and more people doing that kind of thing, it is just what will push it and what will make the difference. And because you know, I really feel like we're going to make a difference here. I really do, and I do see things changing a bit in that aspect. It's really great that the MPs and everyone maybe even feel safe enough to take on the issue now because enough people are actually behind them.
Well, okay, that's an assumption. And I'm not really sure, you know, how effective this is going to be. He's getting on in his years. He's been in this position for, I don't know how many years, long time.
Right.
So I think that, you know, he probably wants to get me off his back. I think that there are a lot of politicians in there that it's just a job, and don't make my job hard.
Right.
You know, don't bring up issues like this because then it's going to mean work for me.
Would you think that would mean then that they really truly are not looking at all into the seriousness of it? Because I still can't seem to grasp how someone can know that we're being sprayed upon and it's changing our neurological system, our ecosystem, and just destroying it. How can
they probably read the wrong things?
Right.
You know, and I think most of us, you know, we respect authority and, you know, where the information comes from. So where they get their information from, it would be all propaganda. Right. You know, and in order for me to keep my position, you know, I'll just go along with it. Right. Even my cousin, you know, like he's well educated. He reads the paper every day. And whenever he comes down here, we'll touch on politics a little bit, but then I get away from it because, you know, he's been brainwashed. He's well educated, but educated with lies, with nonsense. You know, like he thinks this is all BS. No, I got some things that I think will be necessary in the future. And he said, that is stupid. He said, that's insanely stupid. Wow. So when anyone says that, right, about someone who has done a lot of research, yeah, then, you know, like, that's blatant. Just sort of let that go. Right. Like, people like that, they're just so programmed. Right. And that's what you have to get through to, and that's difficult. And
there is action going on here, class action lawsuits, and talk about, you know, holding people accountable, even within a few Toronto lawyers, and you know, I'm really hoping that those things that are coming together. And I've heard different stories about the court case. That it may not have a lot of teeth. At the other hand, it definitely does. I'm hearing two different sides of it. Now I don't know. Like I hear that they're talking about coal fly ash as being the thing to actually say it is that's being sprayed. Yeah. Now I don't know if I really. I have to maybe look into that a bit more to understand. I just don't know if that's, you know, if that can hold anything at all. I really wish they'd stick with the barium, strontium, aluminum, manganese mix there. Yeah, well, that's too scary. I know. You know, like a fly, that's not very scary. Coal, right, good point. You know, in any case, now these class actions that are going on, every activist should be made aware of that. Right. You know, but we're just hearing about it. Well, if they need more teeth, then get the teeth together. Right. You know, and that's what I mean. If we all got together in unison and then do these types of things where there's a full set of teeth. Right. And not just one or two teeth. Right. Yeah, and we could set this up too. I know there's there's a few people, a lot of few. There's a bunch of people online that have been talking about getting together. There's even, I'm going to be getting together with about 8 or 9 people next week, is just, like-minded individuals that wanted to get together to talk. I guess that's where it starts, but we can all get together and talk, that's fine, but we have to set a plan and action.
Yeah.
To
I remember the first time that I met you, and you were very well spoken. I said, whoa, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And a lot of enthusiasm. And, I regard you as one of our youth. You're younger than a lot of the other ones. And that's where we need it. We need the young ones to get involved.
Right.
Also.
Well, I'm 45, so I don't know.
Oh, are you 45?
Yeah, 45. Just turned 45 in June.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were around 32.
Hey, I appreciate that. I'll take that.
I figured you would. I'm always good at getting gifts.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was a pleasure to hear. And I likewise with you. I mean, when I had met you first too, it was a relief to speak with you, because people feel alone in the situation to themselves individually, and they're hoping that there's someone else out there that sees that same thing and that cares about it just as much, and or more, or around the same. So I do appreciate everything that you have done throughout your life, and what you're about to do in the future. We still have a lot to go on this. I guess the next legal step is for the class action. Just reading here on an update from www.geoengineeringwatch.org. This was in August 16th, just a month ago exactly. It says the next legal step is the filing of complaints with the court and against the parties involved, which include 36 individuals and or agencies or organizations. Example, U.S. Department of Defense, Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force, Chief of Naval Operation, U.S. Department of Transportation, NASA Headquarters, National Weather Service Organization, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, various cities and countries in California, California Public Works Departments, Region 9 EPA, U.S. Coast Guard, State of California, I'm almost done here, Regional California Water Resources Control Boards, Attorney General of the United States, and the Attorney General of the State of California. So there's a lot of people that they're going for. These are the people that initially had put this on and sent up the intimidation memo up through the other offices, I imagine. So
now, I never thought of this before. Do you think that Trudeau knows anything about this?
I do know he does, because he came to Cambridge, and I was with Press for Truth at the time, and I was there to talk to him about how the mayor of Cambridge, their administration, I would say, the environmental planning department, had issued a memo to tell them that if anyone showed up at their city hall talking about geoengineering, that you'd be arrested, or you'd be told to not be there, or you'd be arrested with trespass or something. So I actually got that memo, and I wasn't allowed to go. And then so I heard that Pierre Trudeau, or Pierre Trudeau Jr.
Pierre's dead.
Yeah. So I'd say that Justin, when he came to Cambridge, I went with a few friends from the Canadian Awareness Network, and they were there to talk to Justin Trudeau and confront him about Power Corp and and the whole affiliation with Power Corp and the new power industry that's kind of controlling a lot of this stuff. And I was there to speak to him, and I got to speak to him, and I got to let him know that my mayor, and pointed him out, said that he was actually, that my city of Cambridge, I'm trying to warn the public of aluminum exposure due to chemtrails and geoengineering, and that man over there wants to send me in jail and arrest me every time I want to speak of it. So he said to me right to my face, looked at me right in the eye at the Cambridge Centre Mall and said, well, that's not good. Oh, well then speak to my representative, because he was really busy at the time. So I know, like, face to face, that he was told that, look at, like, he even responded to me, well, that's not good. So I think he does know about it. I just feel like he's been brought up in Buckingham Palace as probably mind control, and it was set up to be exactly the man he's put in for this moment, I imagine.
Yeah. But anybody in authority, especially a prime minister or leader of a country, if they're aware of this, I don't know, something needs to be done about that.
Right.
Because I mean, what's the word when a leader tries to bring a country down?
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
And this is exactly what's happening here.
I'm not going to say it, but
right.
Today down here, like it's fairly it is heavily chemmed.
Right, today, yeah.
Oh yeah, in fact, these two great big, they look like train tracks across the sky. Anyways, before we end, that's basically what I would really like to send out is that it's that can't word. Get rid of it.
Yes.
Like, don't let that become part of your vocabulary. The things that I've done in my past, like I was told that I wouldn't get very far in school. Like Mom and Dad didn't think that I'd go anymore in grade 10. Well, that really bothered me, and I wanted to prove them wrong.
Great.
And then I went to school, I kind of overdid it, and I went to school for 21 years. But, like once I got to university, I liked it.
Right.
But I did it, and I didn't listen to that can't word. When I wanted to become a single foster parent, I was told, oh no, you can't do that. There's no such thing as a single male foster parent. So I said, well, let's make it happen. Within a month, I became Canada's first single male foster parent. Because I already cared about this little guy. Nobody wanted him, and I was a therapist for 2 years, and there was a lot of good in him. Anyway, so the group home that I bought, I didn't have any money in the bank, but I had a vision, and that's what it's all about, is having the vision, using your imagination, climbing outside of the box, and making a plan that's going to work.
Yes.
A realistic plan. If you need others, get them.
Yes.
Don't do it on your own. And even what we're trying to do, like using all the skills of the people that are involved, so we're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
Because someone will say, I've already gone through this. How about doing this?
Right.
No, I'm a member of Friends of the Library. We just started the Tri-County Health Coalition. That's helping me because you see, I used to stammer a lot, and I would never talk. I was quiet. I would only listen. But the listeners sometimes have a lot to say once they're able to say it.
Yes. Well put. Absolutely.
Like I would never have done what I'm doing right now, but I know that I have to push on, and I have to do whatever I have to do to help, with the cause.
Well, we're more than happy to have you help out with the cause in this day, and for you to come out and to let us know a little bit of who you are. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, and I know everyone around us respects you as well. I want to say thank you very much for being on CoVerT ReaLiTy today.
Thanks, Chad.
And I would hope that you would come on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And this has just been a really powerful show. I can't be more thankful than I am right now. And just from the bottom of my heart to you, I want to say thank you, Scott, for everything you do, and I hope that we get to speak with you again in the future.
All right, thanks very much. Just one last thing I'd like to say. I'd like to put a nice plug in for Suzanne Mayer for all that she's doing. I think those billboards are absolutely awesome, and all the work that Bernadette Greaves has done too. Just amazing. And what you're doing. And there's a lot of other people like Jodie Foster, Troy Lessard, just amazing. So if we can all get together, we're going to win.
Oh, hey, I got goosebumps all over me right now, buddy. I appreciate that so much. We are going to win. And we will let you go on that note, Scott, and you have a great weekend. And
Well, I don't want to go yet.
oh, you want to go? Okay, you don't have to go then.
No, I'm kidding.
Right on. Hey, I'm going to come down to your neck of the woods soon, and I might even be around there this weekend, so I'll maybe give you a call.
Well, I'd like to have you down here. You know, we can have a game of pool.
Yeah.
Sit by the lake.
Sure.
Just mellow.
Yeah, that'd be great. Sounds good.
Okay, buddy.
All right.
Later.
Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Well, that was Scott Pullen. Wow, second lieutenant, Canadian Army. He's a veteran of since 2013. I couldn't be more happy right now to actually be a part of all of this. Even though we're under some, interesting times of being sprayed in our atmosphere, I couldn't be more happier right now to be speaking with the people I am, especially with Scott, Don Pullen, that was just on the air now. Big hats off to you for doing what you've done, and let's just keep this ball rolling. And I was also going to say, I want to say thank you very much to Suzanne Marr and ByeByeBlueSky.com. If you want to help us with the billboard campaigns, go to ByeByeBlueSky.com. There's many outlets there and areas. You can even start your own campaign if you want. And chemtrail, geoengineering exposure is what we need to plaster our administrations and our faculties with, because we need to corner these people and make them feel as guilty as they should. Because if it weren't for people like Scott Don Pullen to literally go against what was said to him in the Canadian Army, and to leave is commendable in the highest form. So I just want to say myself how it's very, I want to say this again and again, how I know Scott and I know that Suzanne and Bernadette and Troy and Michael J. Murphy, anyone like Jolie Diane, Amanda Danielle, anyone, Tim Bartels, Jerome Devonish, anyone that's passionate about getting the word out, and that we all have this this amazing feeling of, how did we even get here? Like, how did this even happen? Why are we the only people to seem to care to wake up everybody else? We didn't expect to be in this situation. We just see people spraying our atmosphere, and we're surprised that maybe the iPhones, I'm pretty sure it is the iPhones doing it, because those iPhones are keeping people looking down, and they're not looking up at all. And there's something in those devices that's keeping them, their minds all somewhere else. And with the frequencies of the cell towers and this weapon system thrown against us, we got to thank, goodness and the greatness of Mother Earth's reverberating awesomeness, that we have people like Scott Don Pullen to come out and to share with all of us the passion he has. Because just the small little things he mentioned about what he does throughout his life, just a small little example of his amazing character. And this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to take. It's going to take this amazing character to push us to break this geoengineering deception wide open, because if you're going to spray our atmosphere, and I'll say it again, you want to spray our atmosphere like you're doing today and yesterday and the day before and the day before, and you want to blame us for us having aluminum in our soil, you're going to be the one that's going to have to answer to all the aluminum in the soil if you don't help us stop. And I'm talking to the administrations and the faculties and the deans of the environment and the military and the Navy and the Army and the police and everyone out there. I just want to say this: I love you all. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for the fact that I noticed that we're being sprayed, and I want a future for our kids and our grandkids. I want to just say that if you have any sort of doubt that that it couldn't be, well, please just join in and give your administrations a call, go to your phone books and call your local departments and let them know we're being sprayed and we don't want it to happen. And we need to do this more and more. You're going to hear more and more about this, about us getting together, not on Saturdays like the Geoengineering chemtrail marches are on. We're going to actually do it during the week. We may even like do something every Monday, every Monday, every single Monday. How about that? Then we'll keep doing it until the administrations don't show up to their job on Mondays, I guess, because we're going to be there. We're just going to have to figure out something here, because we are under attack, like Scott Pullen, 2nd Lieutenant, Canadian Army, just mentioned. We are under attack. We've just been told that, okay? So this radio show here marks the 20th CoVerT Reality Show episode, and I want to say thank you to CKMS 100.3 FM Waterloo. I want to thank you very much. We're having our fundraising drive for CKMS Waterloo 100.3 FM starting next week. So I will be on the broadcast on the 23rd next week talking about that, and we will be having our special guest next week will be Suzanne Marr of Bye Bye Blue Sky. Will be talking to us with updates on the billboards and all sorts of stuff, and updates on chemtrails and her thoughts on what's going on up in Lake Muskoka and around the area. And I want to say have a beautiful weekend. This is Chad Kazrin for CoVerT Reality.